Hello, 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 everybody out there. I'm sure at this point I don't have to do the whole, hey there, everybody, it's me. Introduce my name and that whole bit shindig. But either way, yeah, I know we did not do this last week, and for that, I will apologize. I don't know if you guys were in fact itching for more of Demons Recollect. If you were, then that makes me feel a little better because if someone else besides me actually enjoys this kind of stuff. There's actually only one friend that I do have that actually enjoy, or I guess two, that really enjoy these choice of games, host of games stories. That yeah, they've kind of gotten into it. One of them a lot more, significantly more than the other, but he's still nowhere near my level. Man, I've been reading these things since like 2010. Jesus, that's a long time. And oh, sorry. And there's certainly very, very good ones that I have in my memory as very good reads, and some others that were, less than stark. All right, so I guess that's enough goofing off. I'm sure you want to get right into the meat and bones of it all today. Yeah. Currently, we have all the room to ourselves, so we do not have to be worried about our volume. So I will attempt to keep a consistent uh, volume, I guess, somewhere like that. Yeah. All right. That's enough fumbling over myself. Let's let's get it on. All right. Dig. All right. Tell me if you need anything changed on audio. Your input is very much appreciated, lads. All right. Okay. All right. I think that makes it a little bit better. All right. Cool. 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 All right. Sometime later at Heaven Sent's rooftop. Try not to destroy my club or my building. Lucifer shouts behind you. You glance over your shoulder. He gives you a shaky smile. This is just sparring. Don't worry about it. Oh, I would. He sits down on the ledge. You know what? I'll just chill here and make sure you don't go over the top. He gives you a thumbs up. Suit yourself, you shrug before turning your attention to Tempest. Though she sustained injuries, you're surprised that she's willing to spar with you. Hit me with your best shot, you taunt. Tempest nods at your determined eyes. She unsheaths her rapier, pointing it at you, and what comes next is a move that you recognize. Piercing how? You dash towards her, canceling her attack by grabbing her rapier. It disrupts the circulation of air and disperses it. It's not hard to disarm an injured opponent. Her rapier clatters to the floor. What now? You spread your arms, taunting her further. She glances at her sword with a frown. Tempest bends her knees and with a gust of wind bursts from her feet. She launches herself towards you. You grab her stretched arm and use her own momentum into a throw. She tumbles onto the concrete before flipping in the air and sticking the landing. You're half surprised both at how she could perform acrobatic moves. The other half is the buzzing of your phone. Wait, you say as you hold up your hand. Here's your problem, you say before lunging at her. She dodges your first blow but fails to evade your leg sweep. You think too much. You stretch your arm before pulling her up. When you propel yourself towards me, you move in a linear direction, unable to make sharp turns when needed. Should I learn how to maneuver myself better? Ah, damn it. Ah, why is the French accent for a female so hard? She asks the question like a student. All she needs is a uniform and a pen and paper. You rely too much on your sword and you're using it inefficiently. You let out a sigh of disappointment. Tempest's shoulders slacken like a child that won't receive her Christmas present. You've got a lot to learn. Tempest could be useful. Alright, here's the French. What is this? Man, screw that. We're going back home to France. I don't know how to do a female one. I'm sorry. No. Oh, ha ha ha. Is it me, mademoiselle? Oh no. We're only 5 minutes in and we're losing our train of thought. Oh, Christ. All right, chapter 6, Recollect. We'll deal with that roadblock if it comes up again soon. Day of the auction. As you get out of the limo, which Kate told you that it's just for rent, both of you head towards an abandoned warehouse. An abandoned warehouse with armed men patrolling the area. You suppose the Hope cannot deliver subtlety and security simultaneously. Guns swivel towards you as soon as you approach the entrance. Such a warm welcome, you say sarcastically. They start to point their guns down. They start to put their guns down but remain suspicious. No, really, I'm touched. Kate elbows your ribs, not wanting to get in trouble. Cold and sweet, Kate says. The guard approaches and he takes out a scanner. You got the nectar. Kate stretches her arm, allowing the guard to scan the microchip inside her ring. Nectar, the coin of the realm. It's worth more than gold in the underworld due to its limited supply. A cryptocurrency created by the Hive themselves. Villains use cash to buy it from the Hive to purchase illegal goods. Like the wind, silent and untraceable. To the public, it's a myth, and you're not entirely sure if the government is pretending to be blind or ignorant. With a beep of confirmation, the guards nod at the two of you. The massive doors open, revealing the warehouse's inside, and it looks like they didn't pay the interior designer. Another guard escorts you towards the elevator. Meanwhile, a few blocks away from Heaven Sent, a behemoth rampages through the upper district as helicopters tail the beast. Their bullets ricochet off the beast's spiked carapace. Buildings are engulfed with flames, painting the sky with red and orange hues. He grabs a van before throwing it at one of the choppers. The pilot steers away, narrowly avoiding the vehicle. But it was just a distraction, as the beast swings its massive arms wildly until it hits one of the choppers, batting at its pursuers like they're a bunch of annoying flies. A cab flies towards the beast and smacks it at the back of the head. It turns around. Its eyes widen as it gleams like the building engulfed in flame behind it. It narrows its eyes at the person in front of it, bold enough to attack the beast. Hmm. I'm sorry. This next one I can't tell if it's supposed to be the beast or, yeah. Okay. Lucifer, morning star. It hisses like an alligator. Devil stands in front of the huge monster, unfazed at the beast. Look, I'm not certain if you have enough intelligence to understand me, but can you wreak havoc somewhere else? He says casually. The beast bellows a thunderous chuckle. The buildings on fire illuminate its bodies. It has the resemblance of an ape with a spiked carapace, and the devil thinks that it may have been human once. I'm trying to run a business here, Lucifer says as he points behind him, his nightclub. It isn't Halloween yet, so a rampaging monster isn't trendy at the moment. Oh, shoot. That first line was the beast. I'm sorry. What makes you think I'll leave, Lucifer Morningstar? The beast says, and Lucifer almost recognizes it. Dr. Evo, is that you? Lucifer takes a step closer with narrowed eyes. Ah, so the fool finally recognized me. More helicopters circle above his head. I doubt I can fit you in my club, so go party somewhere else. Lucifer nods before turning around. Why do you think I want to attend that in that cesspool when I am the pinnacle of evolution? He says with a growl as he swats a helicopter in the air. Lucifer faces Dr. Evil once again with an annoyed face. First of all, you and evolution need to catch up. Second of all, you're the pinnacle of ugliness, not evolution. I mean, why do you have human arms behind your ass? Dr. Evil's brow shoots up in surprise. At least what's left of it. I admit I didn't expect to have arms on my ass. Evil stumbles on his words. Then leave and fix yourself. Look like nature's greatest mistake, the devil says in disgust. Dr. Evo is clearly offended. He lifts both of his massive arms with the intent of pummeling Lucifer. Evo's roar echoes like a thunderclap as he brings his arm down with incredible force. Lucifer sighs and he stares at the two massive arms headed towards him. Useless heroes. Something slides from Lucifer's sleeve. His hand immediately grips the handle of his old weapon, Morning Star. A wicked smile forms on the devil's face. I know, he pauses, that I am a beautiful way to die. Back at the auction. It took you almost 5 minutes to arrive at the main hall. The auction house's location is so far down that it's safe that you'd be safe if someone nuked the city. The gentle sound of the violin playing and the red carpet that you're walking in screams, fancy! Kate leans closer. Remember what we came here for, she whispers. Yes, we came here to infiltrate. Now what? I didn't think we'd get this far. She hesitates for a moment. You're joking, right? You take a glance at her and she isn't. Why didn't you plan ahead? You try to restrain the frustration in your voice. I thought we'd get caught and then they'd just kill us. The words spill out of her mouth. What kind of thinking is that? You almost fling your hands. You just thought we'd go into a suicidal mission without a chance of survival? Yes, she says nonchalantly with a shrug. You almost want to beat the crap out of the villain you just bumped as you were weaving through the crowd. You take a deep breath. You need to relax. I hope you're not claustrophobic, you say as you glance at the number of villains in the area. I'm going to check the items. Oh, shoot. No, I'm gonna check the items, you say to Kate before weaving past the fancy crowd. Exotic items displayed inside glass containers, and they're even selling a flask of the liquid dampener. Everyone is after the same thing as you. Godson. Your sword hangs freely as metal cables connect, and there's even a screen with inaccurate information. Wield me. The blade pulsates, urging you to free it from its tethers. The villains, viewing it, take a step back as the blade swings slightly. Even the guards glance over their shoulders as they notice it. With an impending headache, you leave the area, wiping the sweat off your face. Someone familiar. As you turn around, you spot someone familiar. Fiery red hair hidden beneath a hat. Ember. You duck as you weave through the crowd, moving along a roaming waiter as you use her for cover. You can't let her blow your cover, or you'll get her and Kate killed. As you approach Kate, who's mildly panicking, the room goes silent as the lights dim. A short man saunters. God damn it. There's the word saunter again. The short man saunters to the stage. The large screen behind him jitters to life, revealing the images of the items being sold. You lean closer to the detective. What exactly are we doing here? Recon. She pauses as she eyes the crowd. What items they're selling, how big the stake is. You nod in silence because you know what everyone is after. The next item is your sword. The auctioneer explains its history and cracks a few jokes about its capability of slicing a tomato. You make your way to your invited guest, planning on causing a scene with the villains in front of them. Taurus, a villain with a bad temper, and he gives justice to the name because he is often seen charging like a bull. You almost feel sorry to whoever gets caught by his swings. Arms larger than a tree log, and you do the best thing to annoy him. Pinch his ass. You duck and slip away into the other side of the crowd before he could even turn around. As he does, his nostrils flare as he notices your guest. One scream later, and everyone's panicking. Guards are flung like mannequins. Unfortunately for them, the hive banned any types of weapons, and the dampeners can't do a thing since Taurus is innately strong. You notice Kate looking for you. She freezes as she spots you, and you signal her that you'll meet her at the elevator before charging towards the stage. In a river of panicking crowds, you're the fish who goes against the current. I'll leap with precision and land on the stage. You crane your neck upwards, glancing at the ceiling as you estimate the amount of force you need to not hit the ceiling and stick the landing. But the scream of the panicking crowd distracts you, so you decide to bend your knees like a frog. With a single push, you launch yourself like a rocket towards your sword, hovering a few inches from the panicking people's heads. It only takes a few seconds before landing on the stage, with only the auctioneer cowering to the side as he pisses himself. You ignore him as you saunter towards the blade, pulsates urging you to wield it. Kill them. Its gentle whisper soothes your ears, almost as if it's your idea. You can feel its heavy presence, pressuring you to command it. The cable connected to it snaps, and the blade flies free. Its aim is true. It pierces your heart, and you feel a sense of dread, something that you haven't felt before. You fall on your back, lying on your own pool of blood. You hear the detective's distinct voice shouting your name. Your vision darkens. You jolt awake, gasping for air, only to find out that you're bound in chains. You grimace as the chains burn bright red, burning your flesh. You scream, but all of it is drowned by a distinct chuckle. Stupid, pitiful creature, the voice booms, and realize that you're surrounded by darkness. A figure appears before you, and he looks exactly like you. But he's not Godson. The searing chain only grows hotter. The strength of the smell of your burning flesh only goes stronger. You feel like passing out, but you can't. Is this hell? You ask yourself. No, it isn't. The figure says as if it heard your thought. Call me Azazel. Your mind begins to connect the dots. The demon? He bellows a terrifying chuckle. I see you're not as stupid as you look. Where is Godson? You ask, forcing yourself not to scream in agony. Inside you, he pauses. Oh, I see. He didn't tell you the truth. Another thunderous laugh. He takes a step back, blending into the darkness. You're a fucked up mutant with multiple personalities. The darkness grows silent. Even the rustling of your chains is unable to pierce it. You let out a breath of relief as the chains finally cool down, until another wave of pain hits you. This time, more searing hot chains coil around your body like a serpent. Surrender. The same soothing voice. Your scream is unable to drown the voice. You thrash in agony, but only the void hears your cry. Desperate, and your attempts are futile. Chained in searing heat, I offer you relief if you surrender. The offer is enticing. But should you trust the voice inside your head? Is this really the end of the legend named Kits? No, I will resist, even if it kills me. No, you say sternly. No, the voice says in a obvious, and it is obviously confused. You would rather suffer and die? You snort. Death has no grip on me, bitch. You feel the voice's presence leaving the darkness, slipping away like an eel. You are once again alone, with your chains of agony burning your flesh, your screams unable to pierce the void of darkness, and with your new power, defying the laws of gravity. Despite the elevator's size, it's packed with villains, squirming as they are eager to find space and away from one another. In a place where powerful dampeners sit, everyone is equally weak and vulnerable. The rising elevator is a power cave, and everyone knows this. But that doesn't bother Kate, as her gaze lingers at Kit, who's lying in a pool of blood, a sword buried deep in his chest. And just a glance of it makes Kate's chest constrict. A dead friend, because of her reckless action. Kate gasps as she takes a step back, not minding the squirming villains behind her. Her whole body trembles at the sight. Yet, he swings his feet and rises from the dead like a zombie, with the sword hilt sticking out of his chest. Yet lifts his head up, looking directly at Kate with gleaming crimson eyes. He grips the hilt before pulling the sword with ease. No sign of pain, not even a wince. Fear embraces Kate as her gaze locks with her resurrected friend before Kit vanishes into thin air. The devil knows. A few blocks away from Heaven Sent, Lucifer pats the dust off his sleeve as police officers glance at him warily. However, they do still nod in gratitude. Or perhaps it's because he dealt with Dr. Evo with a single swing. The behemoth, Dr. Evo, lies dead in the middle of the road as police form a barricade around the beast. "It's over here!" shouts one of the officers as they finally find Evo's missing head. Normally, Lucifer doesn't shy away from the camera, but he waves at a reporter dismissively. Dr. Evo has already ruined his night. A shiver runs down Lucifer's spine, the hair at the back of his neck straightened. His pulse quickens and he senses a familiar presence. He glances towards the direction where the auction is being held. He was invited, but he didn't bother to attend. Interacting with villains from all over the world is a bomb waiting to explode. It looks like it already has. It's unusual for the devil to experience dread. He fears not for his own, but humanity. "Bloody hell," he says along with a sigh. "Here we go again. Death is knocking at your door." Somewhere in a bar at the lower district, the dimly lit bar obscures the Reaper's place, the best bar in the city. No heroes would dare to explore the lower district with rapid increase of villains in the city, but everyone in the bar, the Jackal, knows who he is. Grim takes a swig as he plays with his lighter. He casts a glance at the bulky TV as soon as the news mentions the death of Evo at the hands of Lucifer. He had his suspicions that Lucifer was indeed powerful beyond Class S, but the devil was always too much of a flirt for him to pick a fight with. The hair on Grim's pale forearm straightens. A shiver runs down his spine. His heart beats for a moment. He chugs the rest of his drink, then places a generous amount of cash on the table. The assassin stands up, nods at the bartender, then leaves with a smirk. The devil has certainly piqued his interest, but this new person caught his attention, and it makes him feel alive. Meanwhile, you open your eyes open. There's something familiar about the night sky and the way the stars are arranged. A breeze passes you, causing the grass to brush on your arms. You realize that you're in Godson's dream world thingy. You push yourself up and your eyes settle at Godson, his back turned as he gazes at the tree in front of him. "Took you long enough," he says as he glances over his shoulder. Begin to approach him.
You're not exactly an easy sort to find. As you sit beside him, you notice that he's wearing a wistful smile, but it's more directed at the tree than you. You eye the tree curiously. Its branches and leaves begin to disperse into cherry blossom petals. They flutter as a passing breeze catches them. My time is short, he says. You snap your head, giving him a puzzled look. What are you babbling all about? He raises his hand with a soft smile. No sarcasm, no snarky remark. His hand begins to fade as well. Fingers begin to disperse into pink petals. If you have any questions, this might be your last chance to get some answers. What's happening right now? I'm fading away, he says as he gazes at his hand. I have served my purpose. What purpose? You've been giving me these cryptic messages. You fling your hands in frustration. My purpose was to guide you here. He gives you a soft smile. Guide me? You only appeared to me once. His frown, but he frowns, but soon changes back into a smile. I wish I could have done more, but things will be easier for now. You finally retrieved your sword. What are you exactly? Don't you dare lie to me. He raises his hands defensively. Both of them are gone up to the wrist. I won't. He takes a deep breath. This might not make any sense, but I am the best version of you. You feel annoyed. He makes it sound like you are out of date, which technically you are. But still, the two of you do look the same. What you saw before you got here was the worst version of yourself. He pauses. Before you fell asleep, there was only you. Your power was and still is pushing and pulling objects. Lame, right? He snorts. Then a new ability popped up. Fear augmentation. Your allies used to call it Coward's Oath. You were fond of this ability because it was easier to dispatch lesser gods. The demon and I are a split of your powers. You went insane and massacred more gods. He shrugs as if you casually do it every Saturday night. My hope was thoroughly crushed when you met the demon before you got here. Why, you ask? The demon wields the power of fear. He killed more gods than two of us combined. Who am I? Captain Kitts of the Scourge of Divinity, he says proudly. Unfortunately, it doesn't ring any bells. How many comrades do I have? There were 12 members. You killed 8 of them when you went insane. Still doesn't ring any bells. He flickers a glance at his arm. Fortunately, 3 of them are still alive. Like you, they have achieved immortality. Does that mean I wasn't immortal? He snorts. Of course not, and you're still not. You blink hard. I'm not immortal. Frown in confusion. You have another ability. When you take a life, you also take their soul. To be more accurate, you take their memories. The older they are, the longer you live. Is that why I killed the gods? One of the reasons, he shrugs. Mutants back then were rare but stronger. They live longer than those of today, which are ridiculously fragile. His gaze lingers at his fading shoulder. How did the others achieve immortality? He shrugs. Ask them. Is this the last time we'll be able to see each other again? Maybe, he gives a non-committal shrug. I'm not sure what happens after this either. Who was the angel in my memories? Godson's brow furrows. I can't remember who he was. It looks like you'll have to wait for your memories to come back. How long do I have to wait? I don't know, he shrugs. But there should be a catalyst that should make you remember everything. But I don't know what. No more questions. Your brow shoots up, then furrows in concern. Godson seems to detect this. Don't worry, your body is perfectly fine. You're in a state of autopilot right now. What exactly happens when my body goes autopilot? Well, you'll come back to life without your conscience. Don't worry, if you're in a fight right now, your body will deal with any threat the world throws at it. Define threat, you say worriedly. It means any living thing. He glances away. Okay, maybe you should be a bit worried. You're not in a crowded place, are you? I'm in an auction right now. Okay, that's bad. An auction for villains. Okay, that's good. Consider them dead, and the world has been saved by the less evil but more dangerous villain. Kate's face flashes in your mind, and you hope that she escaped before you got the sword. Don't tell me you're worried about your little human friend, he teases. She doesn't know what I am, you say wearily. What if Kate saw you come back to life? And it isn't on the third day. What a coincidence. Well, it looks like my time is up. His words catch your attention. You realize that the rest of his body has faded, and only the head remains. In a world of heroes and villains, the devil is your friend. Are you talking about Lucifer? Because if you are, then. And just like that, he vanishes. You glance around, and the tree is no longer there. You're alone. Nothing new about it. A powerful push hits your gut. It sends you back to your body. A few weeks later. It's been a few weeks since the detective saw you come back to life at the auction. You're not sure what happened either, but the police have found the underground place where the auction was held. No doubt Kate's doing. Check your phone reading the news article. It looks like they finally found a way to enter the elevator, but as soon as they arrived at the place where the auction was held, piles of dead bodies immediately greet them, and the photos aren't exaggerating it. The marble floor stained red, headless corpses lying everywhere. Some have been mangled, mutilated, and the results of investigation suggest that it was no beast, but a psychopath with a sword. A sword sharp enough to cut steel in one swing. The body count is somewhere around 100 and is still rising as more bodies are found. A quote from the anonymous source catches your eye. Something powerful and cruel did this, powerful enough to withstand the dampener walls. I was lucky that I got inside the elevator before it started killing everyone. Some of the police were mutants, and they can prove that the dampeners were strong enough to knock mutants out that are Class A and below. Rumors are spreading that there might be a new Serpent class mutant on the loose. You close the article and begin to dial Kate's number, but it only sends you to voicemail. You text Pavlov that weird things have been happening after you retrieve Godson. You gain the ability to push objects away and pull them towards you. You were expecting something catastrophic, something that could end the world. This is better than nothing, I guess. Then there's Godson. The blade itself is buried in your chest. Or maybe there's a portal in your chest, which makes the summoning part painful. And then there's Blur and Ember. It's not a secret that the two have this sibling rivalry that turns a room into a war zone. Being friends with one of them is a thing, but having a relationship with one of them? What exactly are you hoping for? I like them both. At the lab. Got a minute? You say as you walk up behind the old man, hunched in front of his machine. He straightens his back as he wipes his hands on a piece of cloth. Sorry. What's wrong? I think it would be better if I showed you, you say before taking a step back. You place your hand on your chest. Godson, come forth. Waves of pain strike you, and you muster the strength to stand up. You can feel it moving inside your chest, worming its way out. That's disgusting. Pavlov covers his eyes, but still peeking a bit. Blood pours out of your chest as a hilt comes out. Ah! With the shout, you grab the hilt before pulling the broken blade out. Surprisingly, it didn't spray blood. Your wound rapidly closes, and Pavlov looks at you with wide eyes. Fascinating, he whispers. His eyes shift to your hands, still dripping with blood. The broken edges glow red hot before rapidly cooling into its form. Ah, it's a big ass sword. Fair enough. This is fascinating, the old man croaks as he finally approaches you. And painful, you say. Anyway, I didn't come here just to show you this circus trick. Oh? He says without glancing at you, still poking your blade. Doc, I think I might be developing new abilities. Your words seem to have given him an idea, enough to shift his curiosity. What abilities? You take another step back. You stretch your arms, aimed at his desk like a gun, willing the wooden object to come to you. You can feel its presence, almost similar to touching its smooth surface. You grit your teeth as you grip hard. Shit, you're bleeding. The old man rushes towards his desk, but ducks instinctively as his desk flies towards you. You swing your blade around, cutting the wooden projectile in half. What did you do with my desk? He shouts. I just bought that yesterday. You wipe the blood on your nose as you feel the waves of pain in your head. I told you I might be developing new abilities. As if that's enough of a warning. Could have just told me instead of slicing my desk in half. He flings his hands at his desk before clicking his tongue. That's not all, you say as you aim your hand at his swivel chair. Another presence, but lighter than the desk. Your face creases as you push hard at the presence. His swivel chair slams against the wall with incredible force. It clatters to the floor. Not my chair! He runs towards his chair. Its legs are everywhere, and some of the parts are still rolling to who knows where. You scratch the back of your head as you move an inch closer to the door. I'll, see you later. Meanwhile, hand placed on her cheek. No, stop it. I'm sorry. Sure is a nice day out today. Nice weather, a nice light, cool breeze. Yeah. A hand placed on her cheek as she leans to the side. Her fingers tap on the armchair as she awaits the video of the auction. Her patience is running out. The steel door opens with a hiss as a guard enters the room. We've recovered the video from the auction, and it wasn't the bomb that killed everyone. The hive boss clenched her fist. The auction was made to lure villains who are capable to threaten her rule. Play it, she snaps. A hologram pops up in front of her. As the crowd begins to panic, a person hops into the stage and carefully approaches the ancient sword. It only takes a few seconds before the sword shoots towards him. What happens might interest you next, the guard says as he plays the video faster. The same person now lies in a pool of blood, comes back to life. He pulls out the sword stuck in his chest with ease, eyes gleaming crimson. In a blink of an eye, he vanishes. Project Eden, she asks, and the guard immediately knows that she's talking about the escapee. The guard swallows dryly, afraid of the queen's wrath. Yes, ma'am. Did Killer Farmer attend the auction? She asks. We are certain that he knows about the auction, but we didn't see him there. Killer Queen's jaw tenses. Call Grim. I want Killer Farmer to be dealt with before he becomes a threat. The guard nods. Understood. He hesitates for a moment, but musters up the courage to speak. Grim destroyed 3 of our facilities. He what? Her voice raises slightly, and everyone in the room almost jumps. His bike was destroyed from the recent fight with Killer Farmer, and he demanded compensation. The guard's voice hitches slightly as Killer Queen narrows her gaze. One of our officers said no. Kill the one responsible. And if the Grim Reaper demands a bike, give him a damn bike. The guard nods nervously. What the hell are you doing? Go! She barks at the guard. Pick the wrong nest. Alright, let me just grab a swig of water and then we'll get back to partying.
So, how are you guys doing today? Christ. I'm doing good. I hope you're all doing good out there. Sure, you drink your water. You gotta keep your kidneys healthy. So you don't end up having to get hooked up to machines later. Seen it happen before. Nasty way to go. Ah. Okay. I do believe that we've had our share. Full from Easter ham. Oh, you had an Easter ham too? Me too. Yeah. We had ham, green beans, chopped up potatoes, and beet salad. Beet salad's actually not that bad. It was kind of good. Whew. All right. Let's keep the ball rolling. Tried checking in on her at the station, but her colleague said that she called in sick. Which you doubt that she is, but it's understandable that she'd react like this. She saw you die, and you just came back to life, as if you took a bloody nap, and brutally murdered everybody. As you finally arrive at her doorstep, you feel guilty. It feels like I've been manipulating her. Take a deep breath and knock 3 times. You hear footsteps headed towards the door. You're not sure what you're feeling right now, but as the doorknob twists, you swallow dryly. The door opens. Kate's tired eyes widen in surprise. Her jaw drops and you notice how her body trembles. She slams the door, but you slide your foot in, preventing the door from closing. Can I come in? You say softly as you open the door, then enter. She stumbles back, then freezes like cornered prey. You notice her breathing heavily. Kate, calm down. I'm not going to hurt you. She lunges towards the couch, grabbing a pepper spray and aiming it at you. Stay away. You raise your hands, but you notice the way she's holding the spray. It's shaking. You're holding it wrong. Takes a glance at the pepper spray before adjusting it. What are you? She asked with a shaky voice. Convince her to put the damn thing down. Kate, please calm down, you say gently. She swallows dryly, and you notice that she's retreating a little. Kate, please put that thing down before you hurt yourself. Take a step forward. She tries to take a step backwards, but ends up tripping on her own foot. She falls on her back. As the pepper spray rolls away, she raises her arm defensively. Stay away from me! She tries to stand up in a state of panic, but ends up falling again, and this time, you hear it sniffle. Please, don't kill me. I'm not gonna hurt you. She flinches as you take a step closer, hurling herself into a ball as you crouch down beside her. You died. Her voice trembles. Tell the truth. I did, you admit. She flickers a glance at you, and you notice the tears on her eyes. But you're alive somehow. How?
I died, but it was only temporary. What do you mean? This time your answer piques her curiosity. It's a long story. We can talk about it later. Her face suddenly contorts in fear. You murdered all those people, she says with a shaky voice as she stares at her feet. Didn't you? She snaps her head towards you. I did, you answer hesitantly. But I wasn't in control. And now you're going to kill me? Tears stream down from her face, eyes, and you find it odd that you enjoy this fear. Feels like you're eating dessert. So you shake the thought away. No, I'm not. You weren't answering my calls after what happened, and I got worried. Kate nods as she begins to process what really happened. So, you really died? She snaps her gaze away as soon as you nod. I'll give you some time to process this, okay? Try to reach out, but she flinches. Be sure to call me, okay? Time to leave. As you enter your car, your phone rings. You take a glance as you start the engine. The message suddenly makes your foot jerk and step on both the brake and the gas pedal. You take a step back, you take a deep breath. Surely you didn't leave anything suspicious inside your apartment, right? Your fists almost smash the wheel as you beep your horn at a kid slowly riding his bicycle. He loses control for a moment, then crashes to a nearby streetlight. You drive away nonchalantly, but deep inside, you're panicking. This is Blair. I'm with Ember right now. We're on our way to your place. What could possibly go wrong? As you arrive at your apartment, the twins are already waiting at your door. They both lean nonchalantly beside the door. Hey, you say as you mask your nervousness. Blair greets you with a smile. You've got a nice place, she says, but you notice a hint of suspicion. Ember merely nods at you. They're both wearing gray hoodie jackets, eyes hidden beneath the dark sunglasses. You didn't do the laundry? You joke as you point at their subdued attire. Blair flickers a glance down her shirt as you face the door to your room, fingers fumbling at your keys. She smiles sheepishly at you. Ah, the lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue, sheepishly. There we go. No. The HQ was gonna send an interrogator to, well, interrogate you. And believe me, it ain't pretty. You pause for a moment, then enter the room. Why would they do that? You say, feigning worry. The HQ dares to bring their fist down upon you, your shove Godson up their ass. But someone included you because someone included you to the report, Blur says sharply as she shoots Ember a glare. Ember glances away with guilt on her face. It was required. She rubs her arm up. Anyway, Blair says, came here to ask where you got your info. I was working with the detective, he shrugged, but it was off the records. I see, Ember says. Get the feeling that she wants to ask how you survived. Fortunately, she doesn't. Anything else? Boop runs towards you with a small bark. He stumbles before finally reaching you. I didn't know you had a dog, Blur says in delight. Her face brightens as she looks down at your dog. Notice the frown on Ember's face as she awkwardly shuffles. Not a dog person, I take it, you ask. Ember prefers cats over dogs. Dogs make her anxious. We should get going, Ember says it like an excuse to get away from the dog. Yes, Blur agrees, but she noticed a smirk on her face. Unless you're free right now, then maybe we can go out. Unbelievable, Ember scoffs. She places a hand on her twin's shoulder. If you need me, I'll be at the boring library. Blair cuts her off. Go. I'd rather stay here and train Tempest. At heaven sense rooftop. How long has it been since someone looked at you, the Tempest, as the Tempest does? Someone who wants to walk like you and talk like you. Someone who's willing to go anywhere as long as you train them, especially on the top of Lucifer's nightclub. Tempest movements or lack Tempest movements lack power, but she does have precision. It reminds you the first time you discovered your powers, you thought charging at your enemies was enough. Tempest lunges at you with a stick. You sidestep and fling her on the back of her head, causing her to tumble. For someone whose power is the wind, your movement is sloppy. You pause, clasping your arms behind your back. I can beat the shit out of you without using my arms. She wipes the smudge off her rosy cheeks. Her complexion often makes you wonder if she came from a wealthy family. Tempest strides and circles around you with a calculating gaze, seeking your weakness. But her skills aren't enough to exploit your weakness. Just as you predicted, she lunges behind you with a gust of hair off her feet to boost her speed. A gust of air. Oh my god, I told you there's a lot of grammatical errors with this one, and it's kind of annoying at times, but the writer does have some solid story, I will say, so I can overlook it. Yes, I'm very particular with my grammar. Sorry. I know this isn't an English class, but I just can't help myself. All right. Let's take it from that point. Yes. Just as you predicted, she lunges behind you with a gust of air off her feet to boost her speed. You spin around and meet her attack head on. Your shoulders connect to her gut, leaving the air out of her. She stumbles but regains her balance easily. Balance and precision, her greatest strength. Her weakness is her calculative nature. Things don't go as she planned, she stops to think, which could lead her to death. Tell her about her strengths and weaknesses. You have excellent balance and precision. She glances away, thinking about your mark. And your weakness is that you rely too much on your plans. She shifts her stance. You recognize the look on her face. New idea has come to mind. When your plan fails, you freeze, trying to think of another plan. That can get you killed. She lunges at you again, but flies over you as you duck. You twist to face her, but you notice how she planted her hand while her legs are bent and facing you. Raise your guard as she thrusts her feet towards you, sending a twister of wind. She lunges at you again with such ferocity that it reminds you of a wolf. You tilt your body to the side, just enough for her to miss and for you to grab her arm. You twist Tempest's arms and use her own momentum, and you pin her against the concrete with her arms twisted behind her back, straddling on her back. Not bad, you smirk. Master, she croaks as her cheeks kisses the concrete. Uh-oh. Ah. You sense something from Tempest. Steamy hot, but doesn't quite burn. Like a rushing river, it threatens to drag you along. You release her from your grip, retreating with a baffled look. Then you realize the heat on your face. You're flushed, passionate all of a sudden, but it leaves as soon as it arrived. After getting up, Tempest passes the dust off her suit. Her back turned, and she makes no plan of facing you. Teaser. Right? Uh, this one. Cheater, bemused look. You're doing a great job keeping it in your pants. Her shoulders stiffen as she slightly as she shifts awkwardly. Yes. You hear a quiet choke from her, and it makes you burst into laughter. Let's go, you say as you wipe the tear in your eye. You and Tempest clean up whatever mess or broken object you have left in 7 cents before driving to your apartment. Execute Order 66. A few hours later, most villains would rather do their work at night. There are fewer heroes, especially after your debut. A lot of these villains are getting ballsier, not as ballsy as you. Robbing a bank could get them arrested unless if they disable dampeners. Fighting heroes for the sake of fighting them is stupid. Ambushing a wealthy group of businessmen who are known to have power and influence in the underworld? Now that's suicide. But you don't have a problem with that. After all, death is your bitch. Your targets make money through medicine. Human experimentation are allowed. As long as they consent and get paid, everything is good. However, the number of people being experimented on is low, ripe for abuse. As it doesn't take long for Glitch to find out where the company gets its fresh supply of humans every month. Turns out they've been kidnapping civilians who are war victims, keeping them in an underground facility, treating them like cattle. They're inside the elevator. Ah, damn it. French. This. What is this? Yeah, inside the elevator. Ah, damn it, that's German. No. Ah. How, how do you do a French accent? Encore. Quand il me fait danser, moi, je ne parle moi. They're inside the elevator, Tempest says. What are your orders? Ah, damn it, no, that's completely. Ah! I should probably practice. For now, we'll give him an American accent, Tempest. Inside the elevator. What are your orders? Block the exits when they get inside. Being attacked by a villain in broad daylight is uncommon, but being ambushed inside your own office is also an unpleasant surprise. The conference room that you're in is supposed to be hidden. Only they can access it. How do you greet them? Hmm. With my back turned, I swivel my chair to face them. Okay, here we go. You hear their footsteps shuffling as they enter the room. As soon as you hear the elevator closing, you know that they're trapped with you. So you swivel your chair with your knuckles placed on your cheek while the other arm rests. They gasp and yell, clutching their tablets and clipboards as they take a step back. I've been expecting you. All of you. You say the last word threateningly. Call security, says one of them with a hitched voice. You stand up, pushing the chair away. Your sudden move causes them to take another step backwards. That won't be necessary. Man in a business suit steps forward. What do you want? He asks nervously. You look him up in your HUD. Glitch already prepared their individual info. Man in front of you is Richard Cogsworth, big bad shark in the business world. Glitch, proceed to phase 2, you order. All of their information has now been leaked. Their crimes unveiled and your suit detaches a drone no larger than a fly. It hovers away to get the perfect angle, and with a red beep, your HUD tells you that you're broadcasting all over the city. You stride forward and they raise their hands. One of them gives you a shaky smile. Look, I can pay you, just don't hurt me. Sharks, you hiss. You grab the one who gave you an offer by the neck, lifting him up with ease. The scent of fear sends your blood rushing. You're a fish out of water. Toss him aside. You tighten your grip. He flails his arms and legs as he tries to escape, but his attempt is futile, so you toss him aside while the others tremble, unable to comprehend the terror that you're about to bring. Listen, we can talk about this like civilized people, one of them pleads. What about them? Point at the elevator. They glance over their shoulders as the elevator opens. Their former test subjects flood the room with white shirts and pants. Looks like Viscount is a man of honor. You didn't expect for him to follow through when you asked him that favor. The businessman's jaw drops. The scent of fear and hatred thickens the atmosphere of the room. Tell me how you treated them like civilized people, you say. Former captives growl as they surround the businessman. Master, Tempest's voice sounds like she's in pain. We need to escape now. Her breath labored. Grim is coming. You need to wrap this up and flee. There's no need for you to take unnecessary risks. But breeding Grim can increase your reputation. However, if you lose, people might take you less seriously. Their former, Let their former captives deal with them. I'll fight Grim. Tempest, where's Grim? Rooftop, she says. You snap your attention towards the ceiling. Bend your knees and with a single thrust, you drill through. Demon and death. After breaking through several floors, you finally reach the rooftop. You pat the dust until you hear someone behind you. I didn't know you were a rogue knight, Grim says. You glance over your shoulder before facing him. His posture is relaxed, hands buried in his pockets and a cigarette held by his lips. Hello there, court jester, you smirk. Grim arches a brow. Funny, he says with an unamused tone. He takes the cigarette from his lip and aims it at you. That is what I would say if you were actually funny. You swat the cigarette in a blink of an eye. Grim lunges with a black sight. Your knees bent as you lean back 25 degrees. The scythe barely grazes your mask as you narrowly dodge his swing. You flip and hop back to gain distance. Lich's drones form a ring, preventing any intervention while capturing the fight at all angles. Tempest proceeds to Phase 3. Phase 3 consists of freeing the captives, giving them the choice to return to their families or to follow you. It is difficult to conquer a city without an army. Phase 3, huh? Grim says. His sight vanishes. A small orb of darkness nestles his grasp. Your motives aren't exactly altruistic, huh? He lobs the black orb toward you and you sidestep. Unfortunately, the orb explodes into a shadowy mist that seems to push you off the building. Your vision now engulfed in darkness. Not even your HUD can see anything. Your back slams against something hard. You almost lose consciousness for a moment. The mist swirls into a vortex. Your vision, now unobstructed, find yourself flying on the street. Grim's foot pinning you down. Alright? Slam my hand on the street, grab the shard, and throw it at him. Slam your fist into the concrete, grabbing the largest piece of rubble within reach, and you toss it towards him. He tilts his head, causing the projectile to miss. But the distraction is enough for you to jolt up. The foot that was once pinning you down is now being thrown back. He loses his balance, and you think gravity. You think gravity by swinging your fist towards his face. With a loud crack, he flies like a rocket and crashes into a building. As the dust settles, he leaps out of the hole, merely rotating his shoulder as he strides towards you. Two of you think alike as Grim's fist manifests into a blade of darkness. You, on the other hand, pull the broken blade Godson out of your chest. The more you do it, the less pain there is. Godson's broken edge glows red hot, and reverts to its original form. Your blade clashes with his. He parries your blade upward. You wince as he drives his dark blades into your abdomen, but pulls back and leaps away as you bring down Godson. You thought you didn't land a hit on him, but the vertical wound on his eye would say otherwise. Your swordsmanship is still unrivaled, and Grim realizes this. He clasps his blades together and extends into a sight, his favorite weapon. The wound on his eye heals. It takes a few minutes for you to realize that heroes are surrounding you, but none dare to interfere. They watch with fear and curiosity. After all, you don't see the Grim Reaper every day, especially in action and in broad daylight. New weapon, Grim asks in a curious tone, which is very new to you. No, and you won't be the first to die by it, you reply. You throw Godson towards Grim, and he sidesteps and swings his scythe in a deadly arc. You duck and compel Godson to return to you. Grim senses this and attempts to spin, but is too slow. Your blade flies toward you and severs his arm in the process. However, Grim launches his scythe into a spinning disc of death and severs your arm as well, both now bleeding and missing a left arm. I guess we're all right now, you joke. And your joke does earn a chuckle from Grim. A warm feeling washes over you and your arm grows back. But so does Grim's. Grim spreads his arms and a dark shroud embraces him, turning into a cloak of darkness. For a moment, the whole world has gone silent, plunging under total darkness. The darkness pushes you down. It's as if you're bearing the sin of the world. The sin of the world is weighted on your shoulder. Your legs wobble. Your body threatens to crumble and kneel. At the center of the darkness stands. Oh man. Right when we're getting to the good part, stop it. Your legs wobble. Your body threatens to crumble and kneel. At the center of this darkness stands a figure. Grim. His cloak billows. His face is painted with a white skull. It glimmers and it reminds you of one of those sugar skull paintings. He strides towards you confidently with a scythe darker than the darkness around him. Playtime's over, he says with boredom in his voice. He arches his scythe, preparing to decapitate you, and you sense that you might actually die and not come back. Assault mode. Scan. You activate your assault mode. As soon as the nanobots cover your entire body, they begin to scan and report nothing. A shiver sends down your spine. Perhaps this is how it ends. Until your suit asks for permission to give you an electric shock. Just a tiny jolt. You agree with haste. As the jolt comes, causing your muscles to tense and leave a burning sensation. However, the darkness is gone and everything is back to normal. It seems Grim has the ability to hijack one's perception. Grim stands before you, a little surprised but still determined to kill you. Jolt up before he could even swing. You send him flying back as your fist connects with his chin. He rolls and gets back up, but you're already on him. All he could manage is to conjure two desks of shadow that he uses as shields. No matter how much he tries to parry your attacks, your HUD always finds an opening. And combining your swordsmanship, your attacks leave devastating effects. Your HUD blares warnings of an imminent shutdown due to premature manifestation of his shields. And the only reason why Grim is alive is due to his movement. He's allowing himself to get hit on non-vital areas, but your attacks leave his movement sluggish. You need to end this now. You shut down your suit's assault mode, and you spot the smirk tugging on Grim's lips, thinking that the tables will finally turn. You throw Godson at him and he clasps his hands together, causing the dark discs to combine and thicken. You bolt, jump, and drop kick. Not him, but Godson. Your blade thrusts further and shatters the disc into 1,000 pieces. 4 tendrils shoot out and wrap around Godson's blade. preventing it from striking his chest. But you thrust your palm on the hilt, pushing it once more. Tendrils fade in. Now, as it weakens, Grim's chest leaks blood as Godson pierces it. You yank the blade out. Blood gushes. He staggers back with white eyes focused on his bleeding chest. A cocoon of darkness wraps him once more. But this time, he sinks into the ground and vanishes. Your HUD jitters constantly, barely able to keep up with your opponents and your movement, having almost drained the power. Tempest, take me to my army, you command. He's not dead, is he? At the facility, the glass door opens with a hiss. Tempest walks behind you as you head towards your new army's location. The structure that you're in right now is located underground. With Lucifer, anything is possible. What's strange is that he wanted to watch a movie with you in exchange for this underground base. Still, you're fortunate that he didn't ask you to bartend. On the ground level, the entrance to your base is a cave shrouded by a ring of trees. Stark white walls, clean and simple. Some of the staff bow as you walk past them. Viscount was kind enough to loan you some of his. How much do we have right now? You ask. Tempest clears her throat. We have 3,000 men, weak due to malnutrition, and 1,000 wounded during their escape. Brow raises. You didn't expect that they'd have this many test subjects. You stop in front of a steel door. Tempest inputs the codes and the door opens. They await their leader, she bows. All eyes on you. The area is wide but crowded. Many form lines as food pills are being distributed. Food pills that will aid in their recovery. You assume the others are at some medical areas. You admit that you haven't explored your own base yet. They grow quiet and look at you with wary eyes. Do you know who I am? You break the silence. They begin to murmur until a child straddles forward. She's skinny and she looks like she hasn't eaten in days. You're Killer Farmer. You're a villain and hero. You're a villain and heroes want to capture you, she says nervously. You hop down the platform and crouch to meet her eyes. Would a villain help you escape and take care of you? You say softly. She shakes her head. Then what am I? Doesn't see your face behind the mask, but you hope that your voice is enough to calm her. I don't know. She shrugs. A woman behind her. A woman walks behind her and you notice that she's limping. She places a gentle hand on the child's shoulder and you notice how they look alike. Thank you. She bows with tears in her eyes. Something within you aches. Humanity is brilliant, but their desire often clouds their judgment. You've tried to end gods and tyrants in the past, but during your absence, there are new shackles and different masters. It's time to make the world bend to its knees. Tempest, how many children are there? About 50, she replies. Send them to a shelter or whatever it is you call it these days. You hop back on the platform. You nod at Tempest to raise it higher so that everyone can see you. It's frustrating, isn't it? Being this weak. The ears perk up, but they lay their heads low. To know that you no longer have anything left but your life. No job, no family, no home. Like a piece of wood drifting across the sea. A steel crate slides into the room, opens with a hiss. Your staff begin to take and distribute the weapons, placing them down at your people's feet. How would you like to convince them? Sympathy. Do you know what it is in front of you? Another murmur circulates. You dare to pick up their weapons. Guns? Want us to die for your selfish goals? One of them shouts. You nod. Guns. I want all of you to fight for our goals.
Amongst the 300 facilities in this city, you people are the only ones I managed to locate and release. You scanned the room. More of them were paying attention. Now, imagine if I had more people on my side. Pause. We could find everyone. Prevent this from happening again. Make the oppressors bend their knees. Yeah, and then it'll be the same throne, but with different master. The voice causes everyone to doubt you. I do not seek stability. I want freedom. If I wanted control, then I would have just bought you from your captors. Pick up your weapons and help me bring a new era. Raise your fist, then clench it. Murmurs reverberate once again. You sense anxiety and determination. I am not going back to that hell. An orderman picks up his weapon and huffs. I'm not willing to die for this maniac. What if he's one of them? Protests one of them. Those who wish to join me can stay. The rest of you leave. You say firmly. Some pick up their weapons. Others simply rise and leave. Half of them remain. May not have gone according to plan, but at least you have an army. You turn to Tempest. Brief them. Less is more, right? Alright, chapter 7, Ancient Revenge. Swig of water and we'll be back. Oh, man. Yeah, excuse me. We'll let the clock hit 3:08 and then we'll pick it up. But then, silence. Oh, Jesus, 3:08 came fast. Chapter 7, Ancient Revenge. News of your deeds has spread into the city like wildfire. Some people are protesting against corrupt politicians, blocking roads that lead to the upper district. Doesn't do much, but their spirit is noted. Especially since Tempest has begun recruiting more and more people. Your army grows, but their numbers are still hidden. And you've been spending your entire day training Tempest, laying low, for now, seeing how the bees react. And they know that you're a threat to their hive. Relax your shoulders before you strike, you advise Tempest. You fling away her arm after she throws a flimsy punch. Know that she's about to throw another weak punch. You've been training her for a few weeks, and there certainly are some improvements. Catch her wrist and pull her close without actually realizing it. Just as you predicted, she throws her fist at you. A simple flick of your wrist. Her attack changes direction and you grab it, pulling her towards you in one move. With my superhuman strength, a single headbutt would have crushed your pretty skull. You growl. It's frustrating. She might encounter Grim, and although her skills have improved, it's still not enough. Miss Tempest stares at you with her baby blue eyes. Her rosy cheeks turn deep red. You immediately push her away, turning around and hiding the red on your face. And you zone out, tasting her memory. The way your brow furrows. The way you analyze a fight with your crimson eyes. And as you pull Tempest towards you, the touch sends a shiver down her spine. Rattles her legs. Oh, Jesus. Don't rattle your legs all over the floor then. Good reading, except for the hiccups, but you should think of doing this professionally. Well, I certainly still have what 3, 6, 9, 12, 12, 24, 36. Okay, in short, we still have a lot of books to go through.
Yeah. All right. Taking it from the top. The way your brow furrows, the way you analyze a fight with your crimson eyes. And as you pull Tempest towards you, the touch sends a shiver down her spine. It rattles her legs. The skin closeness feels like a choir of angels are singing. Heaven's light has shined upon you. You shake the memory away. Master, I know I have disappointed you, but I'll do better by next time. You clear your throat. We can work it out later, you say, fortunately enough that your voice didn't crack. Every person's emotion tastes differently, except for fear. Tempest embarrassment tastes like a freshly baked croissant. You will never be me. Words come out of your lip harder than they intended, and she flinches. Because you are Tempest, and you don't have to do anything but be yourself. The bounty hunter's baby blue eyes widen, and the look she gives you is like a child meeting her hero for the first time. You groan. What you need is a competent ally, not a fan. Come on, let's go shower and get something to eat. Her shoulders tense, her face turns blank, staring straight ahead. Shower? You mean together? No, you idiot. Try to hide the blush, but your imagination is running wild. That certainly doesn't help. I apologize. I was merely trying to clarify. The red on her face is gone as soon as it arrived. You scan her face for any signs of flirtation or anything sly. After finding out that she's just being honest, albeit an idiot, you shake your head as you saunter towards the rooftop door. Lucifer is still leaning on the door where you left him. You asked to use his rooftop. He asked if he could watch you spar, and you still don't know why. Every now and then you notice the wistful look on his eyes, but the cheeky grin often hides it. So, any fractured bones? He asks. There will be if you don't step aside and let me use the lift. You warn, but he shrugs it off as usual. Oh, and then we can play patient and doctor. I prefer to play the student and the frog. Ooh, Kiki. He nods approvingly. God damn it. Yeah, I'm gonna dissect you with Godson. You wink. His smile falters for a moment. That was a joke, right? Chuckles nervously. Want to find out? You say with a dangerous smile. He shifts his posture, almost as if flaunting his features. I am both terrified and deliciously tempted. He smirks in the most devilish of ways. You, damn it, you brush past him as he opens the door. You and Tempest enter the lift, and the devil gives a little wave and a wistful smile. An hour later, you and Tempest settle to have your lunch at her own apartment, which surprises you how she acquired it in such a short amount of time. Her apartment is modest. Space isn't exactly abundant, but it does have its charm. With only white walls decorated with small paintings, black carpet, and the softest sofa you have ever sunk in. After she cooks you a meal, you wolf it down. Food tastes wonderful. Even heaven would be jealous. Like a drug, you want more, and yet it satisfies you every time you swallow. You lick your fingers, savoring what's left of the crumbs. That was fantastic. What kind of sandwich was that? She stares at you with a blank expression. Bacon, she says. She takes a long sip from her mug filled with tea. You can sense that she wants to ask you some questions. You groan. Go ahead and ask. She folds the long sleeves of her black shirt, revealing her forearm as if she's about to do some dirty work. What's your real name? She asks as if that's the most mysterious thing in the universe. Kits. Kits is my real name. Surname? Nothing. I'm sure the old man already briefed you of what I am. The doctor is really talkative when he wants to. Tempest shifts in her seat. You notice the guilt looking on her face. So, why are you picking a fight with the hive? You killed one of my friends and took the other one. I say sharply. You say sharply, making sure she doesn't ask any further. Tempest takes a sip, a long one. She scans her face for any sign of deception. And after a gulp, she finds none. Why did why did you look for me? For training. Hypothetically, if the training is done, are you gonna try to hunt me down again? Tempest's expressions turn serious. I am many things, but I am not a betrayer. Did I poke an old wound? You smirk. Her interactions with Tempest have all been training, and with a few plans of her own. Her brow shoots up. She glances away with the faint blush. She nods hesitantly. It was a long time ago, she says, recollecting herself. Then it hits you. Three memories float like bubbles in the air. They taste like caution, safety, and hatred. The hatred is strong. Sense the bubble reeking with hate. Dark clouds loom over you, rain pouring heavily, making the mud jump with each and every droplet beneath her skin, beneath her feet. Tempest is lifted by the neck with an iron grip by a figure in armor. Why? Tempest croaks. She loses consciousness, but the intensity of betrayal and hate is strong. Strong enough that you have to cover your nose as if that'll help. The armored figure cranes his head towards you. He looks familiar. Lightning strikes where you stand. The memory bubble vanishes and your instinct screams at you to run. Get the sudden urge to pull Godson out of you, although the figure's armor looks familiar. Chest heaving with every breath, Tempest reaches out but draws it back as she sees the look on your face. Master, is everything all right? She asks worriedly. Yes, you nod. Her expression remains the same, but her emotions are not hurt. It stings so much that your eyes are watering. Do you not trust me, Master? I do, but I'm not going to tell her what I saw. Not just yet. And trust me, I'm fine. She takes a long sip of her tea, thinking that you don't notice how she scans your face. Something about that figure bugs you. Armor looks familiar, but you don't know where you saw it. You sense that they're powerful. Perhaps they surpass Grim. What bugs you is that they know exactly where you stood. It was a memory, unless there was someone behind you. Shake away the thought for now and give your apprentice a smile. Can you make me another one? You slide the plate towards her. She beams, picking up the plate and running back to the kitchen. You rub your hands together nervously and regret are what you feel, but you don't know why. Sometime later. After spending time with your disciple, and you suspect she was taking down ah, and you suspect she was taking down notes as subtly as she can as you were talking, place both of your hands on the steering wheel of your car, sighing in exasperation. Don't like this nervousness, this feeling that something is coming your way, but you don't know what. So, jerk back to the side, adrenaline pumping, instincts ready to fight, only to realize the person beside you with the black sclera is Godson. You're alive? I never died, he snorts. But I saw you fading away. Dramatic effects, he shrugs. Roll your eyes at him. What do you want? Dodson leans back, placing both of his feet on the dashboard. He lets out a deep breath, shutting his eyes as he relaxes. Am I the only one who can see you? Yes, he smirks. This means if someone saw you, they'd think you're crazy. You bump your head on the wheel. Sure you know about the figure in armor. Know anything about them? Dodson looks at you with a teasing grin. Perhaps. Don't bullshit me, Dodson. If I told you your entire body will either shut down or Azazel will take over. He places his hands behind his head, making himself a bit more comfortable. You glance at the window. The street is calm, silent, and it eases the nervousness. What about. As you turn to Godson, he's already gone. You sigh. Can't believe he's a part of me. The detective is still trying to wrap her head around what she saw at the auction. No amount of explanation will hasten the process. There is no path but through. Start the engine as you plan to visit. Uh, I'll just go for a stroll, maybe around the slums. At the lower district. Ah, the slums. Where people are too broke to afford a toilet, so they just toss their shit outside their windows. But at least they're not homeless, right? You gaze at the hovel like homes, poorly built and dirty. Seems to be the trending structure design in this part of the lower district. Doubt that the people here have locks on their doors because there's nothing left to steal. The street is run by gangs. Of course, that's pretty obvious as you glance at the group sitting on a dusty old couch just outside a collapsing home. A small table with a few bottles of cheap beers in it is on it. A pack of white substances are also on the table. You raise a curious brow. It's either law enforcement or bribed not to come here, or none of the patrol cars dare to waste their time. Understandable, considering that one of the gangs has a black tech pistol in his hands. You ignore them, and they ignore you. They're more than just hot headed drug addicts, they're businessmen. You see a fancy car driving by, all they hear is ka-ching. You know how they run this racket. They bribe homeless people as scouts. And that's why there are more homeless people roaming the border between the lower and middle districts. They've probably reported you, listed you as a potential customer. How quaint. There is no fame to be had here. That's why heroes don't roam the area. One man's decaying district is another man's empire. The Jackal. A few minutes of driving later, you spot a familiar looking bike parked outside a bar. It's strange that no one dared to steal it, considering that it's the only vehicle around here. Decrease your speed, parking right next to the bike. As you exit and slam the door shut, you activate your vehicle's defenses. Anyone who tries to break into the vehicle will be dealt with an energy repulsor, fully capable of disintegrating bones and turning people's brains into a soup. Pavlov's paranoia is no joke. Nod in gratitude before heading into the car. The establishment doesn't have the best interior design or the most abundant of the space, but considering you're in the slums, it's adequate. There's a soft rhapsody, almost like static, like jazz music playing from a makeshift radio. It's either the owner could only afford one light bulb, or they're having an electrical problem because the entire bar is dimly lit, and its light source is a single bulb installed above the bartender's head. Smoke and cheap beer clink as you make your way toward the figure chilling in the darkness. His expression contorts in annoyance and surprise, but he doesn't change his relaxed position. Still leaning against the plastic chair, you recognize the scar spanning across his cheek to the bridge of his nose. The short, unkempt jet black hair, those eyes resembling the darkest night. Grim, and he notices you. Hey, huh, and I thought I had a weird taste when it came to establishments. This is a logical place to hang around. No meddling heroes, cheap but satisfying beer, and annoying people are rare, he says. But you sense that the last part was directed at you. Still a shithole, though. Shrug. He takes a sip of his beer and he eyes at you warily. Presses a cigarette between his lips. A tiny flame from his lighter flickers. From his lighter licks the end of the cigarette. A haze of smoke dances in front of his face. He takes the cigarette between his fingers so that he can speak freely. No, I kind of expected that you look hideous beneath the mask. So he knows who you are. You smirk at the thought. Grim is far more dangerous than you thought, especially at your weakened state. So you think I look adequate? He interrupts. I'm gonna guess this is a mere coincidence. No, I tracked you down. Oh shit. He scowls. One of the things I hate are lies. The cigarette burns bright red as he takes another drag before puffing it out of his nostrils like a dragon. But the hive is full of lies. You say with the intent of testing his reaction. You either know they exist or dismiss the idea. Mentioning the hive is the best way to know a criminal's relationship with them. But Grimm's expression remains the same. At first, they were full of shit, but after wrecking their labs, they understood that I value the truth. Thought you were some freelance assassin or some sort. Never took you for a hive dog. In this case, a drone. He shrugs off the insult. The hive are my biggest and currently one of my most frequent clients thanks to your actions. You're welcome. So, what's your end game? Sure, the revolution shit is just a means to an end. A distraction at best. Shit. Seem he saw through your action. Not your plans, at least not yet. Conquer the world, of course, you say with the sweetest smile. Grim throws his head back, his cackling drowns the static jazz music. You really are full of shit, aren't you? Aim to please, you shrug. Lets out a sigh. What do you want? He groans. Since you've been causing me trouble, I thought about I'd drop by to return the favor. Trouble was for free. No need to return it, he says in a dry tone. His dark eyes, remain passive. Oh no, I insist. He smiles sardonically. Generous, he snickers. He takes one last drag before snuffing out the embers of a cigarette on the ashtray. Smoke oozes from his nostrils and mouth as he gazes at you, scanning your face with boredom. So, what's your deal with the hive? They took something from me. I mean, someone. Something like that. How old are you? 35. He chuckles, shaking his head as he gazes at the table. Bullshit. You're probably 1,000 years old. Are you? Because the more you remember, the older you become. At least according to your faulty memory. I'm surprised that you're. I'm surprised that you're still working with that human. What was your name? Her name again? I have no idea what you're talking about. Grit your teeth. It's clear that he's talking about the detective. He snaps his fingers as soon as he remembers the name. Okay, was it? He's a pretty perceptive human. She can spot patterns that most people can't count. Threaten him, yes. Rise from your seat. The plastic chair moves slightly backwards as you lean closer to Grim. I will tear you apart if you did. He doesn't flinch. His raven eyes make you stop. He hasn't done anything to Kate. Yet. I'm surprised you're attached to a human. He takes a deep breath. You take a deep breath to calm yourself before sitting back down again. The detective is valuable to me. That's what makes you weak, he states in a matter-of-factly tone, empties his beer bottle without breaking his gaze. A cold, ragged breath escapes his lips as he slams the empty bottle on the table. Didn't even notice that he pulled out his wallet. There's now a lot of cash on the table. His chair screeches up as he gets up, winking at you. I'll see you around. And his hand to the table. Bar fight, bar fight. God damn it. Guess not. The table shakes. The objects on it rattles as you slam Grimm's hands on the table, pinning it by the wrist. He does not flinch. He leans closer and you smell the scent of tobacco in his breath. I'll kill you when I get paid. And you have tried, assassin, you hiss, but none have succeeded. Your fingers wrap around nothing as his hand becomes a shadow, oozing through your fingers. He turns around and heads for the door. Check out the western port. It'll be worth your time, he says in a cryptic shoulder glance. Your phone buzzes. After fishing it out, you read the text. Patting the tilt. Smiley face. Message from Lucifer. He's collecting a favor. Eat the devil. Right. I think we're gonna stop for today. I feel my voice becoming shot.
Ah. Here we go. Ah. Boy, these readings sure are fun, but boy, does it take a toll on the old throat. Auto revoir. You mean au revoir? Message retracted. Yeah, I don't think he spelled that right, man. Au revoir. Au revoir. How the hell do you even spell it? There we go. Yeah, au revoir. Yeah. Yeah. 1, 2. Lips, the teeth, the tip of the tongue. Hanan ve aliza yatsu lasade. Hananaro eve aliza said. Well, my voice has taken all it can for today. I'll be back again tomorrow. We're going back to the old schedule. So tomorrow will be somewhere at the very latest, starting between 8 p.m. to, I don't know, 9:30 or 10. Some more Summon Night Swordcraft story. And of course, Wednesday, in case you can't make tomorrow, which is later, we'll be here at the same time as we were today. Darn spell check. Trust me, the amount of times I tried saying something to a friend and for it to come out as duck has come out too much. Alright, I'm gonna go drink a bunch of water with ice. Soothe that nice voice. It's probably not that nice, but you know, comedy. So either way, I hope you guys have a good day. I will make sure to have a nice rest of my day. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So make sure you stay frosty. And I'll see you on the other side of the day. Adios, mis amigos. Yeah.